Hi, I'm Cameron James, and I'm a singer-songwriter here in Nashville, and I'm currently in the studio of a producer and friend of mine named Joe Williams. He and I have collaborated a lot together, and I'm very grateful that I've had some songs of mine be featured in some TV shows and commercials, but more importantly, I am the mother and wife to two rare disease warriors. In 2014, when my little girl was 3, my daughter was diagnosed with an ultra-rare disease called atypical hemolytic uremic syndrome. It's a genetic disease that is autoimmune in nature that primarily causes kidney failure, among a host of other issues. And we were blindsided by the diagnosis. It took a couple weeks for them to finally identify what was wrong. They originally thought she had leukemia, and the bottom dropped out when we learned, no, it's an ultra-rare disease. For every million, there are roughly 2. And at the time, there was only one treatment. It was the most expensive drug in the world, had only been around for FDA approved for 3 years. And as you can imagine, it was beyond traumatic and devastating. You know, it's one thing to worry about your daughter being in the fight of her life, and another thing to worry about the astronomical cost of her care and what would happen if we couldn't afford it. And I had learned a lot from my daughter, who, you know, she had about 20% kidney function at her lowest, 6 blood transfusions. But I learned a good lesson about not judging the future based on the present, to leave room for the turnaround and for the miraculous. Because my little girl completely recovered, that drug was effective, and I also give all glory to God for the way that we had everything we needed in that season. And I like to say that my little girl saved my husband's life. Because of her, we did genetic testing and found out that my son and I didn't carry it, but my husband did. And we learned that even though you have a genetic mutation, doesn't mean that the disease will ever manifest. But because we had that information, we were prepared when in 2017, the unthinkable happened, and my husband started to manifest the same disease symptoms that Elise had. But thankfully, he was able to walk into the Vanderbilt ER, hand them his genetic mutation, tell them what test to run, to check his kidney functions. And he was crashing a lot faster than my daughter was. He was about 20% kidney function on arrival at the ER. And again, I think she saved his life. Because of her, they remembered us from being at the hospital 3 years earlier. My daughter's nephrologist contacted his hematologist. They were able to work together. And my husband had only 1 blood transfusion, spent a week in the hospital, and he went from about 15% kidney function back to 100%, just like my daughter. And we became the ultra rare of the ultra rare. As mentioned before, for every million there are 2. We became the only known parent and child with this disease that was being medically tracked by the pharmaceutical company that makes our drug in North America. But thankfully, this disease is getting easier and easier to diagnose, and we are no longer not the only family. And that puts things into perspective that yes, rare disease and ultra rare disease, we are unique, but together we're not that rare. Over 400 million people globally are affected by rare disease. There are more rare disease patients than HIV and cancer patients combined, and 1 out of every 2 rare patients that are diagnosed are children. And we need your help. 5% of all rare diseases even have a treatment. We're an ultra rare disease with a treatment, and we're the lucky ones, but there are so many that need your help. And as mentioned, oftentimes because of the chronic nature of rare disease, the cost of care can be incredible. And this is why it's so important to come alongside nonprofits like Global Genes and donate, and we need your help. I'd like to thank our sponsors for supporting this event, and if you would like to donate, you can go to www.globalgenes.org/donate-now, and any amount you can give is such a blessing to the rare disease community. And now, without further ado, I'm so excited to get to perform a song I co-wrote called I'm Feeling Good, and it's all about the turnaround. It's about when the clouds part and you actually feel good and you're believing for better days ahead, that your future can be much more than what it is right now. And again, I'm so excited and honored to be a part. Thank you, Global Genes, for having me, and I hope you enjoy I'm Feeling Good.